This is the section 3.5 video. So in section 3.4, we discussed the slope-intercept form of an equation of a line and how to use that to graph. In this section, we're going to talk about the point-slope form of the equation of a line. So if we're given at least 1 point on a line, and we have, or we can calculate the slope, then we can write the equation of the line using the point-slope form of the equation, which is y equals, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So m is still the slope, and x1 and y1 are the x and y coordinates of the point we have. So, for example, write the equation of the following lines in slope-intercept form. So we're going to start with the point-slope form, and then we're going to transform them into the slope-intercept form, So a line with slope of -3/4 that passes through the point -8, 2. So we start with y, oh, that is big. We start with y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. So now we substitute what we know. So y1 is positive 2, m is -3/4 times x minus, now x1 is a -8. So now let's do a little bit of arithmetic here. Y minus 2 equals -3/4 times the quantity x. And remember, subtracting a negative is really the same thing as adding. So we have x plus 8 in the parentheses. Now we need to distribute that -3/4 through. So we have -3/4 times x plus a -3/4 times 8. And remember, the 8 is 8/1. So cleaning up on the right-hand side, in other words, multiplying the -3/4 and the 8, 4 goes into 8 twice, so we can cancel there. And so that leaves us with -3/4 x minus 6. And then all we have to do is add 2 to both sides of the equation so that we've solved for y. So y equals -3/4 x minus 4. And that is our slope-intercept form of that line. Okay. Number 10, I'll get you started on, or at least give you a hint. So let's scroll down the page before you should pause the video and try it on your own. So if you noticed in the last problem, we had a slope and 1 point. This time, all we have is 2 points. But we know how we find the slope when we have 2 points. So that's what we should do. And then we have the slope, and we can use 1 point to find the equation. So pause the video and see if you can do that on your own. All right, now let's check ourselves. So first, find slope, which is m. So m is x1, y1, x2, y2. Remember, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that is 9 minus 3 over 1 minus a negative 2, which is 9 minus 3 is 6. 1 minus a negative 2 is 3. So our slope, since 3 goes into 6 twice, is 2. Now we go to step 2. We plug into the point slope form. So we have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So y1 is 3 equals 2 times x minus a negative 2. So solving that so that it's in slope-intercept form, we have y minus 3 equals 2 times the quantity x plus 2. Distribute the slope of 2 through the parentheses. So y minus 3 equals 2x plus 4. Remember, we have to multiply both things. And then add 3 to both sides of the equation. So we have y equals 2x plus 7. Now, I used the point that we had labeled x1, y1. If instead I had used the point that we labeled x2, y2, would we have come up with the same equation? Well, I'll leave that to you to check if you want to, but here's how you would start that. You would start with y minus 9 equals 2 times x minus 1. And if you solve that for slope-intercept, you should come up with exactly the same equation. Okay. Let's scroll down to the next couple of problems. So for these, we know how to do all of this. We just have to think about it for a minute. So remember, if two lines are parallel, so parallel lines have the same what? Hopefully, you said slope. So if they give us one equation of a line, 3x plus y equals 4, and they tell us that we have an x-intercept, that gives us a point. Remember, an x-intercept, the value of 2 is the x-coordinate and the y-coordinate is 0. So if we do something with the line they've given us, we can find its slope, and then we can use that slope and the point to find our other equation. So first, find slope of given line. So we have 3x plus y equals 4. And we're just going to subtract 3x from both sides. That gives us y equals negative 3x plus 4. So our slope is negative 3. Now we're trying to find a line that's parallel to that, so it has to have the same slope of negative 3, but it has to go through this other point. So 2 is use the point slope formula. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So let's see, our point is 2, 0. So y minus 0 equals negative 3 times x minus 2. And now we just simplify. So subtracting 0 doesn't mean anything, so that's just y. And we have to distribute the negative 3 to both. So negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And negative 3 times negative 2 is plus 6. So the equation of the line that is parallel to the line they gave us is y equals negative 3x plus 6. All right, let's do perpendicular. It works the same way, except perpendicular, remember, perpendicular lines have negative reciprocal slopes. Whoops. Slopes. So fortunately, we're perpendicular to that same line, 3x plus y equals 4. So we already know that that has a slope of negative 3. So our line that we're making has m equals 1/3. Because remember, negative 3 over 1, so its reciprocal is 1 over 3, and negative means we change the sign. So, using the point slope form again, we have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. We still have the same point 2, 0, so y minus 0 equals 1/3 times x minus 2. And now we distribute the 1/3. So y minus 0 is just y. And we have 1/3 x minus 2/3. And that is our final answer. All right, that concludes section 3.5. So next we'll start chapter 4 in the next video.